Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video, what are we doing? Another What's It Worth? And I know I'm a little behind on some of these Loomians because obviously the event is literally ending tomorrow by the time of the recording. It's currently the 9th of November, so just bear that in mind. But getting straight to the point, standing right behind me is going to be none other than the Gleaming Halloween Dractus. Now this bad boy was actually lent to me by Royal_Destroyer, so major shout outs to you. Here's your Roblox profile. But before we get straight into any of the facts, I want you guys to keep everything I say with a grain of salt, as all this information is subject to change. Before getting into that, I want to quickly announce a few things regarding some free GR opportunities. First off, if you guys want to win a free Gleaming Ikazune, it's very simple. All you guys gotta do is quickly subscribe to yours truly, subscribe to SpecDex on the screen right now, and go join that ASAP. This will end once SpecDex is at 200 subscribers. Additionally, we're also hosting another giveaway for about 7 GR, though be it is bad demand, but it's very simple. Once again, subscribe to yours truly and join this Minecraft server posted above on the screen. Very simple steps, and if you guys are lucky enough to win both of these are just about almost 9 GR together, so just bear that in mind. Now getting straight into the facts, we can see this Dractus being a 1 in 32,000 chance to find in the wild, since it is obviously a 1 in 250 base. As for the demand, we can see this being bad demand, and for the GR, we can see this being as low as around almost 2 GR to about 5 GR. Although that's being said, let's get straight into the trading process. Alright, and let's go to the chat. Let's type in looking for offers on Gleaming Halloween Dractus. And boom. And now let's wait for offers. Alright, and our first trade request is coming from Gareth the Buster. So let's see what Gareth has to share with us today. So we start off with the Gamma Servolin, Male, Dull and Smart, Gamma Conibo, Robust Foolish, Gamma Twiddle, Pure Nimble, Gamma Grim, Pure Nimble, and Gareth did just say final offer. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? This trade will have to push towards a thumbs down, as I say that mainly for the fact that the Gamma Baris typically are around horrendous demand if they're evolved. We can see this one being, since it is male, a 0.5 extra demand on this one, so yeah, it should be between that horrendous bad range. As for the Gamma Conibo, we can see this being around 0.3 GR with bad demand, though be it since this one is Robust Foolish, we can see this being little under, being around that 0.2 range, but nonetheless, it is still a thumbs down. And with that being said, let's get into our next trade. Alright, and the next trade request is coming from Sweets Pumps. Let's see what Sweets has to share with us today. So we started with the Gleaming Protogun, Pure Nimble, another one, Pure Nimble, an alpha supposedly PvP Dokumori, an alpha PvP assuming Kanabo, PvP Mirai, PvP Obsidian, PvP Umbrat, PvP Dokumori, PvP Small, PvP Ceratot, PvP WikiWiki, PvP Vesperatu, and lastly PvP Cernite. It does seem like this may be Sweet's final offer, but I'll quickly check in a second. Alright, and Sweets did just say yes. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? This trade is honestly going to be a better trade overall now, because of the fact that the Gleam Proto is going to have around decent demand to about 2.2 GR to its name. Since we do have two of those, it's going to be around 4.4 GR with decent demand, and we do have all this PvP ads. Now this is coming from someone who doesn't really like PvP, nor doesn't really know too much about PvP, so if you're interested in that, this trade is even better for you, but we're just not going to include that just for my sake, unless it's like some exotic. I'm not really looking into that, and I would personally say this trade is going to have to be a thumbs up, since we're getting better demand for just about the same range of GR. So with that taken into account for, let's get into our next trade. Alright, and the next trade request is coming from LostPotato 7525 so let's see what Lost has to share with us today. So we start off with a Gamma Helvantic Dull Smart, and it does seem like this may be their final offer, but I'll quickly check in a second. Alright, and Lost did just say yeah as to whether or not this is their final offer or not. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? This trade is going to unfortunately be a major thumbs down, and I mainly say that because of the fact that Gamma Helvantic is around almost 2.5 GR at the very best, though be it does have very bad demand. We're pushing very much horrendous demand, so yeah, we're not really getting too much out of this. If there was a bunch of ads, maybe we can consider something here, but yeah, we're not really working with too much here, so thumbs down. So with that being said, let's get into our next trade. Alright, and the next trade request is coming from Jerry_Mini, so let's see what Mini has to share with us today. Alright, so we start off with an Alpha Hydrolan, Pure Nimble, and it's also going to be the male one, Gleam Shachi, Pure Smart, Gleaming Halloween Swirl, Pure Nimble, and Mini did just say this, so we're just going to quickly confirm as to whether or not this is the final offer, and we'll cut straight into that. Alright, so I did just ask Mini as to whether or not this is the final offer now, and they really did just say, oh my god, are you the tic-tacker? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and then a bunch of hashtags. So yeah, it does seem like this may be their final offer. With this being said, is this trade worth it? This trade unfortunately is going to be a major thumbs down. The most GR we're going to get is mainly from that Gleaming Halloween Swirl, and we already know how that's going to turn out. Since this is obviously not the Gamma, it's going to be 0.5 GR with horrendous demand, so it is pretty unfortunate. But that being said, hopefully in our next and final trade we'll get better stuff. So with that being said, let's get straight into that. Alright, and the next and final trade request is coming from Anderson_324, so let's see what Anderson has to share with us today. So while I'm doing this trade for Anderson, Mini did just reach out and ask for a shout out. So major shout outs to you, Mini, for actually recognizing me on TikTok of all my platforms. So if you guys actually don't know what my TikTok is, here it is on the screen. Go quickly follow that. But we're going to start off with Anderson's trade being the Halloween Shachi, Robust Foolish, Gleam Griefstone, Pure Clever, a Nevermare Hyper Frail, Halloween Celestine Frail Clever, Christmas Metronet Clever Sluggish, and it does seem like this may be Anderson's final offer, but I'll quickly check in a second. Alright, so I did just ask Anderson like a good while ago as to whether or not this is their final offer or not, and they really haven't responded. So they added in the Obsidian, which is supposedly very dull, clever clever, and nimble. Oddly questionable, but it does seem like this is going to be their final offer. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? This trade doesn't have to be a major thumbs down. Not really a whole lot for me to yap here because it's pretty self-explanatory. We're not really pushing 1GR. And yeah, they did just cancel the trade. So that being said, let's wrap this trade up. Alrighty guys, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, and join our Discord server. While you're in it, go join Reliable Values, as obviously as it states in the title, it is very reliable and I would highly recommend it if you guys need some sort of value list, help with values and demands, or just stuff like that. But don't just stop there, head on over to my TikTok because yes, Unk does post on TikTok. I do forward everything I post onto YouTube to there. So yeah, go check it out regardless. And lastly, just a few more things regarding stuff like my merch and the upcoming giveaways that I have planned. Obviously, go join my Roblox group and go get some of our merch before it's too late. If you haven't already, go join and do that ASAP. Additionally, with the giveaways, I did say earlier, if you guys want all that stuff, make sure to go join them accordingly before that is also too late. And I do plan to do more giveaways for what could be 50 to 100 plus GR. Now, obviously, this won't be in one whole go shot, but you know what I mean? It'll be over time. But yeah, that being said, remember, pineapples are vegetables. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, stay safe, peace.